Hello, Bridget Marsh in Auckland, New Zealand. This is Anais, and I'm awfully glad. We're trying very hard to figure out a way to connect today. So let's see what we can do. We have about, 20, 25 minutes, and we'll see if my computer will cooperate and we can see and hear some version of each other. I'll be very happy. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your being intrepid, and you were planning to be unplugged today. So thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure. Yes, I was totally unplugged yesterday, as you know, no power for more than 8 hours, and but really I came off lightly. There are people all around my country who have no roofs on their houses, and whose cars were completely flooded, whose houses were completely flooded. So, yeah, technology willing, here we go.
All
It's just
right.
such a pleasure to be here.
Thanks. So I want to start out by inviting you to share with our listeners and viewers how you came to start creating what matters, what you're doing in that wonderful business of really helping people to identify and really hone their niche, and go ahead and share that story with us. I'm dying to hear it.
Oh, thank you. I love telling my story. and I love telling it because I have had a fantastic life. I'm extraordinarily privileged to have, I can count on the fingers of both hands the number of days when really the work I've been doing in the world hasn't been something that I absolutely love and am passionate about. And so I've led sailing holidays in the Mediterranean and the Caribbean. I've sailed my yacht across the Atlantic. I spent 13 years living that life. And then I returned to my country in New Zealand, and my darling mother said to me, please stay here. So I decided to stay, and I took a job as producer of a thing called theatre sports, and I went to a performance. It was the first performance ever in New Zealand. I went to the performance and I loved it so much. It was so vibrant and exciting. And then they said at the end of it, we need a producer for the show. So I went backstage and I said, don't look any further, you found her, it's me. They said, oh no, we can't just hire you now, we have to interview you. So they interviewed me. Anyway, long story short, I ended up meeting someone who wanted to had a new bank in New Zealand and wanted that bank to get a national profile. So I dreamed up a concept, I dreamed up an idea, and I wrote a sponsorship application for $1.25 million for this bank. Yeah.
Love it.
1989, not long after the 1987 stock market crash. And it included running the very first international theatre sports competition and inviting teams from Canada and from the US and from England and Australia to come to New Zealand and play. Anyway, this is the largest art sponsorship, in New Zealand ever. And people said to me, how did you do that? And I said, I imagined it. And then I said, okay, what do we need to make it happen? I would take on the management role of a very small little school. After the 87 crash, lots of our arts organisations had folded, and I'm passionate about the arts. I'm passionate about dance and acting and the visual arts. Anyway, they asked if I would take on this role. And I said, yes, I'd be interested in doing that. And they said, how long will you stay? I said, about a year. And they looked at me and they said, you'll have to give it longer than that, Bridget. Anyway, I ended up as head of that school for 13 years. And we wrote a degree, the very first degree in performing arts in New Zealand. We wrote it across all the pages of art, of acting, dance, choreography, directing, writing, film and television production, all of those pages. And people said, you can't do that. And I said, why? They said, well, nobody's ever done it before. I said, yeah, but we want to, don't we? And so we wrote that degree. It got approved with no requirements, have to change, no requirements. And I went on to write a number of other qualifications in that field.
I love it. I love it. We are kindred spirits. in so many
Yeah.
ways, and even paralleling things like, now I haven't done as much sailing as you, and I don't have my own yacht, but one summer in the 90s, I had decided that if I ruled out flying because I knew I'm too right brained, and if I got in an airplane and I managed to get up in the air, it wasn't going to end well. It wouldn't end well. So I thought, well, what will give me the feeling of flying I might be a little bit safer if I get into trouble. And I thought, why sailing? Of course, I'm going to learn how to sail. So at that time I was living in San Diego, and I went to the yacht club, and I joined the yacht club, and I planned a week's vacation, and I said, look, I'm going out, you're going to teach, I hired a captain, you're going to teach me everything, and I'm going to take my 2 exams while we're out on the boat. And in a week's vacation, I learned how to sail and had qualified to bareboat charter. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think so much of how we create what matters in our lives and what matters in our business is that we just are really clear about what we want, and we don't set up doubt or fear barriers or can't do barriers along the way. And if we don't set them up, there's a very good chance that the people that we'll attract who will work and play with us are not going to be setting them up either. Has that been your experience?
I think that's parallel to that, Anais, but people still go, how do we do that?
Right.
And the thing about how is it's actually the wrong question to ask until you're really clear about exactly what you want to do. And once you're clear about that, then the how becomes much more obvious, and you really only need to know what the next step is. You don't have to know the whole plan.
You don't have to know it all. And one of the things that I talk to people about in the work that I do is take the next step. And stay open and stay present to where you are, and the next best thing will show up exactly as you need it. So I love it that you are approaching micro businesses and entrepreneurs to find a way to move through the development and the sustainability of their businesses using this approach. And I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but we don't have a lot of time. So I want to ask you a question, because one of the things that we're doing is we're bundling our digital education and our coaching resources to create a fabulous offer for people. So I would love it if you would share, because I was talking to, it was you who said to me, who so confidently said, my genius is. I can't tell you how happy that made me, because so many people are afraid to say that. I'm not, you're not, but a lot of people are. So, your genius is in your boot camp. Just share with us how you go from one organic, natural step to the next, and how you teach people to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, so just to backtrack just a wee bit, when I left the school, I looked around and I went, I have spent my whole life helping people be the very best they can be in the moment that they are, whether they were learning to sail, whether they were learning to be actors, whether they were the teachers in my program or anything. I just helped them be the best they could be. And I knew that this was something that the world really needed, and so that's when I decided to take my genius, if you like, my experience, and start working with business owners, and helping them understand what their genius is. So that's what I do with my clients in my boot camp. The templates are all there, the worksheets are all there, but I have the ability to read between the lines, if you like, and really understand a person and what it is that they're trying to do, and help them find exactly the right words that they need to speak to their ideal customer, to speak to their ideal client, and around all of that, I mean, that's the core of any business, is actually understanding what it is the pain of your ideal customer. What is the thing that's stopping them? We talked earlier about not having fear, but everybody does have fear, but it's how do you take the next step through it? It's identifying customers' fear, pain that is holding them stuck and making it difficult for them to actually buy what you're offering. So if you can then find the emotional benefit, and it's the emotional benefit that we need to discover, that people will then go, oh, I can take that next step, I can buy that product, I can pick up that offering. And that's what I help my clients do, is to really uncover their own backstory, so that they're clear about their purpose and their why, and that helps them keep going when going gets hard. And it also helps them identify who their ideal client is, because our ideal client is really a reflection of us and our own journey. So I work with the backstory, I work very much with values, because our values are the embodiment of what we want to bring into the world. Yeah? So I work with values, and I work with the backstory, and I help people uncover what really matters to them, and then we can find the language about what will really matter to their ideal customer. And that's my genius.
That is a genius, and I'm so excited that we have kind of taken an organic step together to see, how can we help people even more? If you bring what you have and I bring what I have, my goodness, how can we even get people in a terrific position to manifest what it is that they really are wanting to create? Now, I wanted to share something with you.
Okay.
I'm in a space right now. I had a meeting this morning with another young woman, and we were going off to launch another whole project together here in Philadelphia, which I'm terribly excited about. But what I said to her was, where I am right now, I'm in the creator space. I'm in the collaborative space, and I want to co-create and collaborate, and I really being very careful about eliminating as much competitive energy from my sphere as I can, unless it's healthy. If it's competitive energy you're gonna give me a little nudge and I'm gonna give you a little nudge to do your best and be your best, okay. But if it's competitive energy coming from fear or a sense of lack or a doubt about self-worth, that a lot of those emotions actually fuel competition in a very unhealthy way.
Very unhealthy.
Very unhealthy. So what I love about the boot camp bonanza I'm describing to people, you're going to get a boot camp bonanza if you take up the offer on the webinar event today, which is that you will get Bridget's boot camp training, which will help you do exactly what she described, so that you're crystal clear about what you want to create. When you're crystal clear, the collaboration comes from places you can't even imagine. It just shows up and says, hi, okay, cool. And what I love about what I'm doing is, for most businesses these days, there is a technical component at some point, whether it's email or it's landing pages or it's your website, and all of those bits need to fit together. And what I find, Bridget, is that the people who I'm best suited to work with and who are happy working with me are artistic, they're right-brained, they think holographically, and they don't even like to reach into their holodyne, their dream. They're afraid to muck it up, they're afraid to make a mistake, they don't want to dishonor it by pulling it apart in bits and pieces that don't work. Rather than do that, they will stop themselves from going any further. Do you agree?
Yes. And they often find themselves working on what I call the well-being continuum. And that's the continuum that's in my mind, includes everything from my clients who are midwives, to my clients who are massage therapists, to my
Right.
clients who are guided adventure walk trainers, and all the way down to the other end to my clients who are fitness trainers and things like that, and clients who are working on the financial well-being aspect. So I have clients, and my very favorite clients are really on that continuum. They're what I call expert technicians. They've become so good at what they do, and they really want to share that with a wider group of people, with more customers and more clients. But because they're expert in their field, they're not expert in the things that you can do and they can help them with, and the things that I can help them with. And so they get to that point and they go, I don't know what to do, and they freeze in the headlights, just as you were describing.
Right, right. And I think that's really a powerful place to recognize when we're given the opportunity to create a circle and who we want to choose to be in our circle, and then making our commitment to action, to step forward and claim that and say, I'm going to own reaching out to create the circle of support that I need, the circle of training to move forward so that this wonderful dream that I have actually gets to have a life. So that's your boot camp. My boot camp is 6 weeks of going through each component of technological information you need to know, and it's a do-it-yourself process, and this is why. If at the end of 6 weeks and 2 weeks of practice, when you have a beautiful overview and you have hands-on, real-time live experience finding your way through with some coaching, you will know how much you want to do yourself, how much you want to have done for you, but you will know the value. You will not be entering in conversations where you don't have enough knowledge to be able to make really good choices for your business. And that, I think, is also important, that we help people become empowered in our individual ways with our expertise to make really good choices for manifesting their dream business. I don't know what else to say. That's what I'm up to. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. I can't tell you. I've been doing a happy dance all week because, first of all, I'm thrilled to meet you. And when I read your background, I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna have to. One of us is gonna have to come over and see the other one because we have a lot in common, and you have this whole other area of really, I will absolutely use your word genius, which it just thrills me no end. So here's the boot camp bonanza that Bridget and I are offering to you today on this second day of our Webinar Jam live events, where I'm really kicking off what we're doing with Tech Talk Cooperative and inviting people to come and play with me who are going to be great playmates in the sandbox. Bridget has very kindly agreed to give a special offer of her boot camp. And I am bringing in a special offer of my boot camp. Now, Bridget, your program, as I recall, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is a 6 weeks commitment, correct? Starting with 6 weeks commitment.
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
go ahead.
Do it time. Sorry.
That's
they
all right.
can do it in their own time.
Right.
They don't have, sometimes people don't do something because they think, I couldn't do that in 6 weeks. I don't have 6 weeks right now. So don't let the idea of 6 weeks put you off. I just have to say, you can start when you're ready, and you can do it in your own time. If you want to do it, you can do it in 6 days. But the reason I suggest 6 weeks, with the 7th week when you have a call with me and we pull a whole lot of information together, is that the brain works best when we work it a little bit and then give it some time to think about and process what we've been giving it to think about, and then come back to the work. And time again, I do have to say this, Anais, and people listening, I really hope that you hear this. In week three or four, sometimes people going through the program, they get, this isn't working, it's not coming clear, and then it's an iterative process. Suddenly in week 5 or 6 after a call with me, and that's when you get to have a really special one-on-one call with me, Skype or whatever technology works for you, suddenly they get the clarity and they go, oh, it's all coming together. Oh, this is wonderful. And the relief is extraordinary. So the reason I suggest 6 weeks is the brain works best when it's given a task and then given a breathing space, and then you come back to the task. Iterative, yeah.
It is, and we know that when we're learning, our brain is making new associations with synapses and neurons. It's literally growing and expanding and making all kinds of new connections, and it needs rest and integration time. So we're on the same track because I do 6 weeks. It's optional for you. You start when you like, you stop when you like. And I have weekly group coaching calls for my boot camp. And then we cover what's happening in your process, because the process is just as important to track as the tech steps. And that's, yeah, that's part of the life coaching experience that I bring to this, because I've done life coaching, and right now what I'm doing is letting the life coaching inform the tech coaching. So people are getting a little bit of both when they work with me. They're getting the right brain approach so they can feel safe in how they do their explorations. And the material for me is organized in audio, video, text, and written word, and then as much interaction as we can do. So I've set up an interactive learning space online as well as with text to help guide you through your process steps. So people who are watching this, this is really, so for Bridget's program, which is 6 weeks plus the rest, plus her one-on-one coaching, and 6 weeks with me with weekly group coaching calls, plus 2 weeks of do it, practice, let's find out, right? Don't be scared. Let's just find out, right? We're going to use free trials. We're going to use free accounts. We're going to create dummy accounts, and you're going to be able to play without worrying about making a mess. And by the time you come out of the 8 weeks, you're going to go, I can have a conversation with my web developer now. I know what needs to happen if you want to build a website. So there we go. So for the 2 boot camps together, if you are going to make your commitment to take action, because one of the things I say to people is, you put it off and you put it off, and you're frustrated and you're overwhelmed and you put it off. How much is that costing you? It costs a lot not to take action. So if you're taking action today, you're going to get my boot camp and Bridget's boot camp with another sweet bonus besides. And you can have both programs for $1,200. Now I want you to know, and if you're watching, and I'm all the time looking at what's going on out there and who's doing what and what the costs are, that is a terrific value for you. And we're even making it easier for you to do that, because I believe, take a step, make a commitment, make an investment, get a return. Feel that you're getting a return. Now, Bridget and I met in another coaching program, and that was a 6-month program. And within 6 months of completing that program, I had a client that contracted me for online project management that absolutely reimbursed me completely for the cost of my coaching program. And that's where we want you to go. So $1,200, 3 payments, plus some other little wonderful things that are going on here. And not only that, you're going to have fun. I believe that having fun and celebrating is part of the discovery process. So there we are. Bridget, would you like to add anything? Oh, Bridget has some bonuses.
Yes,
Talk about your bonuses. I don't want to leave that
yes.
out.
I'd love to. I'd love to. And whilst you were talking, Annalise, about people at the end of your program, they'll be able to know, they'll be able to go and talk to their web developer about what the website needs to look like and do. And if they do my program at the same time, they'll have the language that they need already.
Exactly.
So they will be able to, because it's all very well having the technical aspects of the website, but if the language isn't there, then it's not going to work. So, because the language, words are so important. And so I really encourage people to recognize that doing these two programs together is such a powerful opportunity. And my bonus is that I'm going to throw in also another $97.99 ebook that I have written in conjunction with a colleague of mine called Creating a Successful and Profitable Sales Process. So that, once you've got your words, then you put all of those words into your sales process. And again, that helps you with your website, and it helps you with your emails, and It helps you with the telephone conversations, the enrollment conversation, everything. It's mapped out there, literally 19 chapters of a sales process. Whoever thought that sales was such a complex thing? But there are all of these steps that we need to do, including how to ask for a referral and how to make a video testimonial. So it's a complete book, and so I'm throwing it in as a bonus.
Thank you.
Yay!
Yay! I'm telling you, this is so exciting. And the other thing I love about what you do is, I was saying, I don't know, conversation yesterday, whatever. It's like, if you can't be clear about who needs you, why they need you, and what you're going to bring to them so that they grow and release to the next level, grow and release, you can't effectively market because you don't know who you're talking to.
Exactly. We need very specific words to talk to our specific, and a lot of people are very concerned about speaking to a very narrow ideal customer or client, and I've done massive research in America and all around the world that there is evidence that clearly says 4 times faster, up to 4 times faster, by knowing and marketing to your ideal customer.
True.
So it's a very, very powerful process, and we put it together like this just for you, people on this webinar. I'm so grateful to you, Anais, for including me.
Oh,
I
I'm
think
thrilled.
it's going to be so helpful for everybody.
Thank you so much, Bridget. We're just about on our dime for time, and thank you. Yesterday, Bridget and I were scheduled to do this, but there was a massive cyclone in Auckland, and she mentioned she didn't have any power for today. And then we had earlier technical difficulties, and we just decided we were going to be unstoppable today. So I'm like, woohoo to you, and thank you so much. And we're going to conclude before my machine runs out of memory, and I will send you everything that you need to become part of our community of Tech Talk. We are a community of networking technical solutions for all kinds of people with all kinds of businesses. So namaste to you. Thank you very much. And I look forward to being in close communication over the next couple of weeks. I so appreciate your being here and jumping in with us. I really am so very grateful. Thank you, Bridget. Okay.
So blessings and much gratitude. And I look forward to working with everybody because I love it. It brings. I could do it all day, and at the end of the day, I feel more energized than I was at the beginning. So thank you.
Oh,
okay.
Great. Ta. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks again.